And we're recording episode 2 of Workspace After Work. I'm your host, Troy Edwards, and I am joined today by Christian Newman. Pleased to be joined by Christian Newman. Welcome, my friend.
Yeah, very happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great that we're finally able to have a conversation. We've been sort of in connection at a distance for a little while, and then just last week we were able to actually connect and chat for the first time, and thought, hey, this could be a good conversation for the show. So eager to hear your introduction for our listeners and let them know a little bit more about yourself. But my connection to Christian is kind of, we have a few similarities in our career journey with Google Cloud. Timing wise, I think our journey started around the same time officially as well. So excited to hear more and get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, so am I, and I really enjoyed the first episode you did with Rowan, and he'll correct me later, by the way, whether I pronounced his name accurately.
Oh, absolutely.
But after he hears this. But yeah, I got to know him right around the same time that I started getting to know you. Actually, before he even moved over to Canada, and so it was a nice convergence of two different worlds I've been in to hear the two of you on a podcast of your own, which is great. Yeah,
it's a nice thing that we both sort of dragged each other into this world of creating content, and specifically for Google Workspace, and we'll continue to do that. It's and now open that circle up, but out of just Rowan and I, and now the opportunity to chat with folks from all over the world that work with Google Workspace, like yourself.
Yeah.
How did I want to ask this of every guest that comes on, maybe to kick things off, but I think
Sure.
Everyone who specializes in Workspace or chooses to pour passion into it the way you and I have, has sort of an aha moment of seeing the technology work and a light bulb going off. Do you remember when that was for you, Christian?
Oh yeah, I could never forget it. The time was around 2017. And so in terms of Workspace's development, it was eons ago because the platform has come so far since then. But even back then, it made such a huge impression on me. And the story is this. I was working at a telecommunications company called Telus. If you live in Canada, you know exactly what it is. If you live elsewhere in the world, there's a possibility you've heard of it. But it's a large telecommunications firm here in Canada. And myself, I was involved in their marketing department. I was in their sales, marketing, and channel development world for 18 years. And around about 2017, I heard that that Telus was considering going Google, which means that they were considering switching from their legacy set of tools, which was largely based on on-premise servers and things like that, to the cloud with Google Workspace. And where I was in the marketing team at the time, it was a really challenging time for us because our competitors were acting faster and faster, and we found that we weren't agile enough in the marketplace in terms of our ability to respond to what was going on. And so when I heard that Telus was considering going Google, I raised my hand and I said, hey, can the marketing team please go first, right? Because by taking our go-to-market processes and upgrading them to the cloud, I just saw so much opportunity for us to become more nimble and agile. And so whoever was making such decisions, I don't even know who, said, okay, sure. Marketing can go first. And so I said, great, what's the plan to drive adoption of these tools so that we can use them to their fullest extent? And I didn't get the greatest answer, right? There was a plan, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't nearly as intentional or personal as I thought it needed to be. And so I asked if, hey, can I put together a plan for marketing to really make the most of these new capabilities that we're going to have? And sure enough, said, okay, go ahead, Christian, let me know what you need. And we very quickly drove adoption of Google Workspace because, number one, the tools are just so capable, flexible, user-friendly. It just made it really, really easy to inspire adoption. And by having a programmatic approach to driving adoption in place, together with tools and resources and myself as kind of like the single point of contact for the marketing organization to really drive it forward, we were able to make a huge impact, and we were able to take some of those go-to-market processes and really transform them to something that was a lot more streamlined and efficient. And we were able to turn around responses in the market much faster than we ever could before. And so the marketing team really became this poster child for how to drive adoption of Google Workspace, or what was then called G Suite, I guess, across the Telus organization. And so that was really my aha moment, because, you know, after we had made all of these improvements to our business processes, the other thing that I realized was just how much more engaged people were, and how much better people connected with one another. And it was just really inspiring to me, particularly at Telus, which was an organization that was very early to adopt remote work styles and hybrid work environments. So it really made a huge impression on me that I carried forward to eventually becoming a Google Cloud partner myself, and starting Rise Digital, which is the name of my partnership.
Yeah, and I want to get to that story as well, talking about starting your own partner. But you know, if we could circle back, that I think your tale of the aha moment is really similar to how a lot of people experience Google Workspace for the first time. Their company is changing, you know, has chosen it as their set of tools to move forward for collaboration and productivity, and they're faced with this change. You had a unique perspective, being almost in charge of that change management plan for your team and the rollout to increase adoption. Now, I'm curious, did you get compared to other teams internally at Telus? Was there some metrics that you can brag about at all, or?
You know, I can't say that there were any metrics that were shared with me. I don't know. I assume that what we called in Telus the business transformation team, or the IT team, they did have their eye on some adoption metrics and things like that, I'm sure. So I don't know the answer to that. But there were subsequent teams that adopted Google Workspace and really just kind of followed our lead in terms of the approach that we had built within the marketing team. So, and I have to apologize, by the way, because I have to add something to my prepare for a podcast checklist, which is to switch off the mic on my Google Home, which I don't know if you heard it a second ago. I must have said okay followed by a magic word or something like that. And right. It thought I was asking about Google Cloud partners, and it just told me how to find a Google Cloud partner. So, you know, anyway, if you heard that in the background, I apologize.
I think our listeners of all podcast listeners can understand that and accept that you might have a Google Home going off in the background from time to time by accident. I think most of us in the ecosystem who've enjoyed working with Google have a Google Home in our house as well. And you know, that's a device that I think will be used in new and exciting ways over the next, you know, few months and years, with the surgence of AI, and especially being interwoven into Google Workspace and Google's technology. Going back to Rise Digital, so one of the reasons I was really excited to have Christian on Workspace After Work was to talk about the experience of going out and starting your own partnership, your own partner. What a tough sledding job that must have been. I can only imagine, because I've gone through a number of Google certifications, Google Cloud certifications, for personal certification use, but to go through what you went through at the start of the pandemic, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was a tough time.
Yeah. If you could share a little bit more about that experience, you know, what drove that and how it was.
Yeah. So, you know, it's interesting. I'd wanted to build my own business for many years, in fact. It's probably about a decade that I thought about it before I actually did it. And as I mentioned, I was with Telus for 18 years, and that career came to a close sometime in 2018. And then I stayed in my lane, had arranged a contract with another telecommunications company here in Canada to do some similar marketing type work that I'd done at Telus. Work that I was proud of, but not necessarily work that I wanted to do forever, right? And so I had a contract with this other telecommunications firm, and that contract was slated to come to a close in early 2020. And in the first couple of months of 2020, I had a discussion with them about, hey, is this contract going to be extended, or, do I want to go and find whatever that next opportunity is? And we agreed that we would just let it end as scheduled, which was on March 20th of 2020. So I don't know if you remember March of 2020, but the world changed in that month. And around March 20th of 2020 came, and I thought, maybe I should have extended that contract. And so, but I thought, hey, I've got a lot to offer, and so it shouldn't be too challenging to find something new. And so I started reaching out to my contacts and, doing the whole job search thing, which, you've recently gone through that, how it is. And it turned out to be tremendously challenging. Nobody wanted to talk at all. And I spent months and months having, casual conversations that never really developed into anything serious because, of course, it was a very ambiguous time in the world, right? We didn't understand the size of the challenge that we were facing as a planet. And it got to around September of that year, so about 6 months later, that I thought, you know what? If nobody's willing to bet on me, then I'm just going to bet on myself. And I thought back to what was the last thing that I worked on that truly inspired me, that really made a difference to other people in terms of its ability to help them do whatever it is they do better. And of course, it was that last project at Telus when I helped drive the switch from legacy tools to Google Workspace. And so I thought, that's it. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And reached out to Google to find out what are the requirements to become a Google Cloud partner. Which credentials and certifications do I need to obtain? What process do I need to go through in order to qualify? And fast forward, several months, and I was onboarding our very first Google Workspace clients at Rise Digital.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's there's something so empowering about making that decision to bet on yourself and follow your passion or something that you feel passionate about. I share a passion for Google Workspace. I think it's been the most fun I've ever had in my career since I made the decision to specialize in it and hone in on it and really give into a focus area. I think it's so easy for career sales folks to become generalists and sort of move from selling one product to another, but truly getting to focus on one thing is it's empowering. So you start Rise Digital, you start onboarding clients. What's your day-to-day like at Rise Digital now? How long has it been going for? Was it a quick build? Did you find immediate success, or how did that go over the next 2 years to lead us up to today?
Yeah, so no, I can't say there's immediate success. There's been immediate success in very few things that I've pursued in life, honestly. In order to achieve success, I truly believe that a lot of commitment, a lot of focus, and a lot of hard work is required. But the other thing that's required too is a lot of flexibility, because if I think back to that time, sort of the vision of what I thought the business would look like is actually quite different from reality. there were a lot of things that came up along the way that that really surprised me. But I knew what I wanted to do in the beginning, and that was really, really important when it comes to becoming a Google Cloud partner, because you're forced by Google Cloud to make all sorts of choices, like what engagement model do you want to have? And engagement model just basically means, do you want to sell Google Cloud products, or do you want to support them with professional services, or do you want to develop them? Do you want to use Google Cloud products to develop applications that build upon their capabilities? So you have to choose that. Then you have to choose what region do you want to focus on? Well, for me, obviously, it's North America, because I'm based in Canada here, and you know, a lot of business occurs between Canada and the USA, and so I choose to focus on that. And then, of course, what product do you want to focus on? There's all sorts of them. There's Google Cloud Platform products, there's Chrome products, there's Google Workspace products, Google Workspace for Education, and so forth. So there's a lot of choices that need to be made, but all of those come together to provide you a certain level of focus that you need in order to be successful. Because if Rise Digital was trying to do everything and trying to be all things to all clients, I think that the success would have taken far longer to develop than it did.
Yeah, and that's something else that we had chatted about briefly when we first connected last week, and talking about, you know, the variance in each of those partner lanes that you just identified, that Google makes you choose one of those. Within those lanes, there's a huge variance of different partners in the ecosystem as well, and you know, there's not one partner. There's a right partner for every customer, I think, but not one partner suits all customers. That's for sure. You know, what sort of partner, Google Cloud partner is Rise Digital, and what isn't it, maybe?
Yeah, so Rise Digital, we focus entirely on Google Workspace. That's the only thing that we do. We'll support Google Workspace adjacent products like, you know, Chrome Enterprise, for example, or Google Voice, or Google Workspace for Education. Those are some examples, AppSheet, things like that. However, our focus is purely on Google Workspace, and our mission is really to become our clients' shortcut to success with Google Workspace by partnering with them, not just to sell them Google Workspace in the first place and deploy it one time and then walk away and enjoy the fruits of our partnership forever. But we really see Google Workspace as something that requires partnership, that requires to have somebody in your corner, behind your back, to help you get the most out of the Google Workspace ecosystem, because it is cloud-based. And therefore, because it is cloud-based, it is vast, and it's constantly expanding in terms of its capabilities as our clients' businesses continue to evolve at the same time. And so by having that ongoing relationship and that ongoing partnership, it really enables us to connect the dots between what's available to them in the ecosystem and what real business problems are they facing on a day-to-day basis, right? So we can connect those dots and make sure that they make the best choices available to them, right? And just to give you a little bit of an example, you and I both know that in Google Workspace, there's 200-300 new capabilities that are introduced every single year. And there goes my Google Home again. I'll figure out if I can mute that somehow. There's the switch on the side there.
The mic's off.
There, the mic's off. There you go. So she won't bother us anymore. But yeah, as I was saying,
even confirmed it for us, right?
She even did. And I see little red dots on it, so I think we're safe. But yeah, there's 200-300 new capabilities every single year. And if we didn't have that ongoing partnership, then there could be clients out there that are using Google Workspace. And yes, Google Workspace has limitations. And those limitations could present business problems for our clients. Well, what do? Do they go subscribe to another application that can fill that gap, or do they develop something custom that can, you know, really complete their workflow? Well, yes, you can do that because it's in the cloud. But by having us as a partner, we can also voice for them within Google with product managers, hey, these are the use cases and the challenges our clients are facing. Is there anything on the roadmap, or can we put something on the roadmap to help resolve this, to make Google Workspace a more complete and better integrated solution for them? And quite often the answer is yes. And quite often those capabilities do come. And so we can tell our clients, hey, you don't need to go spend $1 bazillion solving this problem today, because, next month or next year or whenever, there's something on Google's roadmap that we believe is going to do that for you, right? So really connecting those dots for our clients.
No, I've been lucky to work for 2 separate Google Cloud partners now, both of them being premier workspace partners. Knowing that we get access to that roadmap of updates early, and being able to provide some insight to our customers ahead of time that, hey, this update that you've been longing for is actually coming in Q3 of this year. Google's let us know ahead of time. Don't go out and buy that point solution, that point product as a Band-Aid solution now. Well, let's put a plan in place, a strategy to actually implement and adopt this update that's coming down the pike. So yeah, that's a huge part of the value that a partner can add, is understanding those updates. And I think we all share those updates with each other and help each other out whenever they hit the market. It seems to be the partner ecosystem bands together and really seeks to understand the best use of it, and then all take benefit from that back to their customers. So really healthy ecosystem, I feel like, that Google has created, and it's only growing and developing new Google Cloud partners like Rise Digital as well.
And even being able to shape that roadmap in the first place. You've probably been part of conversations that I have where product managers for Google Drive or Google Voice, or pick your application, are coming to us saying, hey, what problems are your clients facing? And what does that mean for their business? And what would good look like to them in terms of Google Workspace being able to solve for it, right? I'm part of those types of conversations all the time. And that's one of the great things about working with Google Cloud, is that they really do value that input that we can take from our clients and actually help shape the future of the product. And that's really inspiring to me.
Yeah, there's an agility there from the development standpoint that Google has that is sort of feels like their edge, doesn't it? I mean, before working in the Google Cloud ecosystem, I worked at another value-added reseller called SoftChoice, who sells everything under the IT sun, and has a great working relationship with Microsoft. So there's a close connection there, and it just feels different with Google. It feels different partnering with them, that they seem to lean into that agility in a different way, and be open and more receptive to feedback to help shape the products. You're right. So yeah, Christian, I mean, we've talked a lot about what a partner will do. What would you summarize, what a partner is or isn't in your mind? How do you sort of frame that out?
So what I've said before is that, number one, not every Google Cloud partner is suitable for every Google Cloud client, right? We all specialize in different products, different regions, different engagement models. Some of us build apps, some of us sell licenses, some of us provide professional services, and some of us do a combination of those, right? At Rise Digital in particular, we both sell and support and provide professional services for Google Workspace, but not every Google Workspace partner does that too, right? So it's really important, if somebody is looking for a partner, that they really look for the one that is right for them. The other thing that I would say is that a Google Cloud partner is not a replacement for Google support, right? When a client works with a Google Cloud partner, they don't forego any benefits of Google support that they would have otherwise had access to. They can still log support cases with Google support. They can they can chat with Google support anytime, 24/7, just like any other client can. But a Google Cloud partner will add a significant number of benefits to that, right? They will, number one, be able to help them deploy their Google Workspace in the first place, migrate their data if they need data migration done. They would help them drive adoption and change management, as you talked about just a couple of minutes ago. They can provide training. They can develop custom solutions using Google App Script or App Sheet to streamline workflows and things like that. And they can provide consulting services. And those are a lot of the reasons why clients will seek out a Google Cloud partner in the first place, because these are processes that all require expertise and experience and knowledge of other tools that can help complete those tasks, right? So often clients will come to us seeking those types of professional services. But then when that initial project is done and they've trained up their users or deployed Google Workspace or migrated their data or whatever it is they need to do, they'll stay for the support, because the support that is provided by a Google Cloud partner, which augments everything that Google provides itself, really amounts to what I called earlier that shortcut to success with the product, where it's not a one and done transactional type of engagement with a Google Cloud partner, but something that is ongoing, where clients will continue to have advanced access to advanced support, i.e. Google Workspace professional administrators, certified like you and I are, and many of our peers are as well. They would get a more personal level of support as well, because of course, unlike the random chat agent that you can get from Google 24/7, when you work with a Google Cloud partner, you're working with somebody who knows your business. They understand what you do. They understand why you do it, and how your Google Workspace environment has been implemented and why it's implemented that way. And so therefore you can fast forward past a lot of the, real basic troubleshooting that typically occurs when an issue arises and go straight to a solution. And like I talked about before,
the first 5 questions in that chatbot's, queue that you can get out of the way, because you're speaking with someone who knows your environment intimately at that point with a partner.
Yeah, and you're speaking with basically the top tier of support that you would find in a typical support center, right? And that doesn't mean that a Google Cloud partner can resolve every single issue. There are a very small number of situations where we need to log a case with Google support on behalf of a client. Most of the issues, I'm sure you can agree, we can resolve ourselves much faster. But when there is something more technical that's going on with the tool itself, we do need Google's help to resolve those sorts of things. And when a client is engaged with a Google Cloud partner, those tickets go into a higher tier of Google support in the first place. And so even then they can get resolved a lot faster. And then, we continue to develop that relationship through regular reviews of our clients' environments to make sure that they continue to be aware of what capabilities they have available to them, and that they continue to run an optimal Google Workspace environment. Like I said, they come for the professional services, but they stay for the support. And all the while, they're benefiting from everything that they would had they been working with Google directly in the first place.
Yeah, the way I always frame it to prospects or customers that I'm working with is, we're a layer of support and an escalation point. Google's not going anywhere. And StrataPrime, the way we frame ourselves is as an advisory. It's, our support model is coined as advice is free, and not limiting support to only those break fix issues that would be a ticket created, but best practices, thought leadership, and just having a smart friend who understands the product really well and understands your business. Mm-hmm. That's the way we frame it, and I think more and more customers are getting it. I think we've got a growing book of business at StrataPrime, which is exciting for me, as I've just finished my first day of week 4 there. But I think all partners' business, hopefully it will grow, because there's a place for a partner with every customer, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for having been with the company only 4 weeks, you represent them very well already.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you today, Christian. I'm going to have you back on. I know that we've got some other stories to share Would you come back onto Workspace After Work another time?
Absolutely. Anytime. Be my pleasure.
Great. Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next week for another episode of Workspace After Work.